Dear Professor Young-kwan, we're meeting here actually at the sidelines of the Geopolitics of the Three Theater World Dialogue, which is a track 2 dialogue bringing together participants from 20 countries, from what we consider to be three most important regions of geopolitical contestation, which is East Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. Would you help us to understand the East Asian theater a little bit better? What do you think are the main players, the main powers in East Asia? What are their motivations and their interests?
First, let me talk about North Korea. North Korea has been developing nuclear weapons, and their goal is being admitted as nuclear power by international community, like Pakistan or India or something like that. And they aim to weaken alliance relationship between South Korea and the United States in order to prepare a better political environment for North Korea-led unification in the future. I think that problem causes much, anxiety among many countries in the world. Another important actor is the United States. U.S. has been trying to denuclearize North Korea in one way or another, but so far there was no kind of positive results. And during the Biden administration, there was no much progress in terms of denuclearizing North Korea. But after the inauguration of President Trump in next January, there may be some possibility of having dialogue or negotiation between two countries, and they may discuss how to denuclearize North Korea or reduce tension on the Korean Peninsula. So that's one interesting and important thing that we should observe. Another player is South Korea, of course. South Korea wants peace on the Korean Peninsula, denuclearization of North Korea, and it wants continued U.S. commitments to defend South Korea through extended deterrence, nuclear deterrence. Another major actor is, of course, China. China has been supporting North Korea for the last several decades, since the end of Korean War. And I think China tended to view Korean Peninsula affairs from their perspective of strategic competition with the United States. So it has been supporting North Korea for a long time. But nowadays, the relationship between North Korea and Russia has been deepening. North Korea dispatching their troops to Russia. And I think Chinese authorities may be uncomfortable about that kind of progress these days. So I think those are the main actors in Northeast Asia.
Given that constellation, would you think that the situation on the Korean Peninsula will escalate or de-escalate over the next year or two?
In the recent 5 years, since the failure of summit meeting between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and President Donald Trump in 2019, there has been rising tension between two Koreas, and even nowadays there's a tug of war going on between two Koreas. And if President Trump, resumes talks and negotiation with North Korea, there will be some kind of reduction of tension between two Koreas. I think that's a kind of positive aspect from a short-term perspective. But from a medium and long-term perspective, there is one important concern or worry from the South Korean perspective. I mean, there's a possibility that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un proposed to remove ICBMs, which I mean, can attack the United States. And he also may propose freezing of nuclear program. In return, he may demand lifting of all the economic sanctions. And from President Trump's perspective, that may make sense, and he may conclude a deal with North Korea. And President Trump may explain to his people in the United States by saying that this is a diplomatic victory for America, because America became free from North Korea's nuclear threat. And North Korean authorities promised to remove all the delivery system, which is ICBMs. But from South Korean or even from Japanese perspective, those two countries will continue to be exposed to the short-range and medium-range missiles, with which they can attack South Korea with their conventional weapon systems or nuclear weapons or something like that. So that's a concern. And so I think there's a plus factor or minus factor in terms of resumed deal between the United States and North Korea.
Now, looking at the global level, of course, there is a theater in Europe. There's actually a hot war in Ukraine. There's a theater in the Middle East. There are hot conflicts in the region, maybe even escalating further. So what are the spillover effects that affect South Korea, and how is South Korea actually navigating the geopolitics of these three theaters?
First of all, in terms of the Ukrainian war, South Koreans are concerned much about that because South Korea has benefited from the existence of rules-based international order. Korea lost its country to Japan when there was no rules-based international order in 1910. So it's an important issue for South Korea's future. South Korea also could develop its democracy and economic growth owing to the existence of rules-based international order in the last several decades. That's the reason why South Korea defended, supported Ukraine and joined sanctions against Russia. And we are much concerned about the future of the Ukrainian war and how it will end. If the Ukrainian war ends in a way that President Putin can declare victory, that will embolden North Korean leader Kim Jong-un or any other authoritarian leaders in the world, and probably make them more risk-taking and provocative. And this will affect South Korea's national security seriously. So we will be affected in that way by what will happen in Ukraine in coming months or years. Also, North Korea dispatched its troops to Ukraine, and the main goal of Kim Jong-un, North Korean leader, may be making their troops experience and learn about modern warfare, which is much, high-tech oriented one these days. And if he tries to apply what they learned in Ukraine to upgrade their war-fighting capability in North Korea, that will add dangers or risks for South Korean security situation. So that's a big concern. What's going on in the Middle East is also, affecting, because South Korea is a trading state. We import huge amounts of energy from the Middle East. So securing safe route for transporting those oil and gas from Middle East to South Korea is very important. So what's going on in the Middle East will seriously affect South Korean political economy in coming years.